Welcome back to the channel. This is Simon Cromer and I've got a real surprise for you today. We are doing a Q&A on boat washing, so general boat washing tips. You're going to want to stay tuned. Now before we go any further, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Be sure to check out 1%detail.com. This is our new website that just launched. We have corralled all the best products on Amazon. We've got Star Yacht Care, Ceramic DNA, all in one location for you guys. We've got courses, we've got blogs. Check that out in the link in the description below. Now, we're going to do a series. We're going to be doing more phases throughout the year. This is part 1 to this series. So check it out, stay tuned, and let's get started. Question number 1, how to wash a boat prior to detailing. So you're going to want to get some Dawn dish soap, some boat degreaser, and you're going to want to wash down your boat. This is going to remove dirt and grime. It's going to remove that top layer of oxidation, and it's going to remove any old waxes or sealants that you have on the boat. And I feel like a lot of boat owners, they just want to get right into it. They want to avoid all that nonsense and just get to buffing. But the problem with doing that is you're going to be buffing dirt and grime and particles into your gel coat. This is going to downgrade the quality of your work. And yeah, guys, it's just really important to make sure you're doing all the cleaning prior to detailing. So make sure you're doing that. That's the best way to do it. The best hand mitt for boat washing. So I've really enjoyed the Chemical Guys microfiber hand mitt. It cleans really well, it's durable, it's cheap, and it's safe to use on all your gel coats. So, I've been impressed, I've been happy with this, and it's what I've been using for a couple years now. So just head over to 1% Detail and check it out, great option. How to remove scuff marks on your boat. So you guys probably know exactly what I'm talking about. Those little black streaks that get on your boat from time to time. You can actually use a magic eraser to remove these. Very easy to do, very light and simple. Now, if you do have extensive dock rash and it's going to require a lot of pressure or a very hard scrub with the magic eraser, that's actually going to remove gel coat from your boat, and it's going to be very noticeable in that location. So instead, I know you guys probably don't want to hear, but it's a lot better to buff out your boat or even sand it out. It's going to make that place or that spot on the boat more consistent, more uniform. It's going to be a lot safer for your gel coat. How to remove dirt and grime on your non-skid. So you're going to want to go with a boat degreaser, and this is really the key here. So spraying a boat degreaser on your non-skid, let it sit for a minute or two, and then scrub it in. This is going to work wonders. It's going to be magic for your non-skid. Back to non-skid. How do we clean it? Well, here's the best way. So get yourself some degreaser. Again, spray that onto the non-skid, let it sit for a minute. Scrub that in with a handheld scrub brush. Go to Home Depot, go to Lowe's, Menards, get a $2 or $3 scrub brush and scrub that in, because what that's going to do is that's going to allow you to get into all those little cracks of the non-skid, and then finish it off with a magic eraser. So you've got the scrub brush first, magic eraser second. The magic eraser is just going to come by, remove any scuff marks that the scrub brush is not going to do, and then it's also going to clean the top of your non-skid. So depending on what type of non-skid you have, this works both for all types. This is the perfect process. How to strip old wax or sealants off your boat? Well, this goes back to question 1, and that is going to be Dawn dish soap being your best option for removing waxes or sealants. Which Surehold brush should you use to wash your boat? So you've got the white one, this is super aggressive. You've got the red combo brush, you've got the yellow medium brush, and then you've got the blue soft nylon brush. So I pretty much never use the white brush. I just think it's too aggressive, it's too big, and it's hard to control. I just feel like it'll do a lot of damage. The red brush, the combo brush, not a huge fan of as well. I do like the yellow brush for cleaning boats prior to detailing. This has really good scrub power and it's going to remove a lot of dirt and grime. The blue one is very soft, very nice, excellent to use on maintained boats, so boats that have already been coated or ceramic coated, right? And then I also like to use the blue brush on windows or isinglass. Very safe to do there. These are kind of all the brushes from Surehold. And yeah, pretty much the only ones I ever use are the yellow one and the blue one. The best degreaser for boats, well, my favorite one is actually Simple Green. So it's very strong, it's amazing cleaner. However, I do like to kind of water it down. So I do a 50-50 ratio between water and the product, because it will go pretty hard on plastics and it will damage and really fade out those plastics very quickly. So just make sure you're protecting your vinyl, your plastics, water it down. But this stuff is great. It cleans dirt and grime very effectively, cleans non-skid excellently. And then yeah, don't quote me, but I think it's eco-friendly, which is great just because we're always working on the water. So yeah, Simple Green is my go-to. How long can soap stay on your boat? So I think this gets pretty controversial, but I would say, depending on what kind of environment you're in, if it's very sunny out, it's 90 degrees out, you got to wash your boat in sections, wash a little part, rinse it off, wash a part, rinse it off, and work down the boat like that. If you're in a 60-degree weather, cloudy day, you can probably wash half your boat and be fine. So just make sure you're being smart about it. Now, what happens is that sun, it dries that soap into your boat, gives you water spots. What do I think of the YOTSTIK carbon fiber wash system? So this is the direct competitor to Surehold brushes. Well, I think that they've got a lot of great stuff going. They've got the carbon fiber handle, which is going to make it so if you do drop your handle in the water, it's going to float and you're not going to lose it. However, the brush for that handle, not a huge fan. I definitely prefer a Surehold brush over the YOTSTIK brush. It's very heavy, very big, a little aggressive, not a huge fan of that. I do really like the SHAMMY mop though. SHAMMY mop with the carbon fiber stick, amazing, the best thing there is out there. However, it is very expensive, so keep that in mind. And yeah, I think for washing, so washing the handle and the brush, Surehold wins, but for the drying part, I think YOTSTIK wins. How to remove rust stains on your boat. So I've got a 3-step system here. I always start with Start the Venom. This is a light acid. It's going to remove any rust that has just started to form or any rust on new boats, and it's going to remove any water stains that are pretty light. So very light product, but works a lot of the time. However, if that does not work, I move to Rust Aid, which is a little more aggressive. And then if Rust Aid doesn't work, I move to straight muriatic acid from Clean Strip. And this stuff is very strong. And this is the last go-to option for removing rust stains or water lines on your boat. And just get a little scrub brush. If you've got trouble getting it off, get a little scrub brush and just scrub that, help it kind of abrase against the surface. And yeah, your rust will come right off. So 3-step series. Venom to Rust Aid to muriatic acid. Why can't you buff out a water line? So if you're a boat owner, a boat detailer, you guys probably know exactly what I'm talking about. And you may have tried to buff out a water line, but it simply doesn't work. And here's why. So your rust stains, or really all it is heavy metals in the water. This stains your boat and it kind of absorbs into your gel coat or oxidation, and it cannot be buffed out because it's actually inside the gel coat, and buffing is not going to remove enough material to get that out. So you're going to have to go with an acid like we just talked about. But yeah, that's why you can't buff it out. So I know it seems very strange, but it'll never work. Here's a cool question. Can you remove barnacles off your boat? Well, I actually do have a video on this, so be sure to check out that video if you are a boat owner with barnacles on your boat. But here are the steps. So step number 1, knock down the tops of the barnacles, get you a razor blade and knock down as many of the barnacles as you can. Second, pressure wash, remove loose barnacles, see what you can get off with a pressure washer. And then third, you're going to want to do an acid application with muriatic acid. That's going to dissolve the calcium platelets of your oysters that are on your boat. And then after you do multiple rounds and you go through a lot of product, yes, this may take a lot of time, it may take a lot of product, but the reality is this can be done. So after you do that, you're going to have these small little plates left on your boat. You can scrub them off with a magic eraser and you're set to go. So the reality is yes, you can remove these. It just might take a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of effort. But if you want to check it out, check out that video I have on my channel. I'm going to teach you a lot about doing that process. How to remove algae from the bottom of your boat. So algae is a little bit different. Algae you can actually spray off with a high PSI pressure washer, so 3,000 to 5,000. Get you a pressure washer, and yeah, you're going to be able to just spray that off the boat. So sometimes algae does happen, but a very simple solution. What are my thoughts on pressure washers? So I used to be very against pressure washers. I used to think they were going to damage your boat, but my perspective has changed recently for a great reason. So what pressure washers do and what they allow you to do will never matter how much scrubbing you do to your boat. Pressure washers do this one thing that nothing else does. And what that does is it allows you to get into the pores of any surface. So gel coat, plastics, vinyl, bodywork, non-skid, going to allow you to get into the pores of those surfaces and really do a deep clean. So I've really noticed this on plastic. When you're working with faded plastic, pressure washer are going to change the way you're able to restore that stuff because you're able to get all that dirt, anything that's inside those little pores. You can never scrub that out, never, no matter what products you use, whatever scrubbing you're using. That pressure washer, that high PSI, allows you to really get in there and just take it right out. So pressure washers, excellent before any details. How to prevent mold and mildew growth on your boat. So this is for the Floridians who own boats. So number 1, the biggest thing I always see is mold and mildew grows on boats that are in direct sunlight. So get your boat out of direct sunlight. If your boat is at your house, try to get a canopy. That's going to make a huge difference on all of your surfaces. Also, don't throw a boat cover on your boat. You want to make sure you've got good airflow because humidity is a huge factor of mold and mildew growth, which essentially is just bacteria growth. So doing those two things, getting your boat out of sunlight, making sure you've got good airflow, reducing that humidity on your boat, that's really going to help you, prevent mold and mildew growth. What is Salt's Gone? So Salt's Gone allows you to remove salt off your boat. So I think this is perfect for boat owners who take their boat out, they bring it back in, and then all they got to do is spray down their boat with some Salt's Gone, get the majority or at least some of the salt off your boat. That's going to be the best way to do it. However, if you're washing your boat, if you plan to wash your boat with soap, I do not think Salt's Gone is necessary. So that's kind of my opinion. It's great for those boat owners who want to come out, go on their boat, bring it back, do a quick rinse down, and yeah, but if you're going to actually wash your boat with soap, don't really think it's necessary. How to reduce water spotting on your boat. So water spotting can be a pain to deal with. So after every use, wash your boat down and make sure you dry your boat. So salt deposits going to be a huge factor in water spotting and just water drying on your boat from the sun. So always make sure you're washing, drying your boat, very key. And that's going to reduce a lot of the water spots on your boat. However, if you're still worried about it, go ahead and check out our water filtration system on 1%detail.com. That's going to be perfect for you. The best hand chamois for drying your boat. Well, I really like this blue hand chamois here. It's very cheap. I think the brand is Mighty Cleaner. So, nothing crazy here, but it's cheap, it's durable, it works. It makes drying your boat super easy. Now, sometimes people like to use these big fancy drying towels, and I think that's great. If you have a really protected boat and a boat in really good condition with clean water, that'll be fine. But I think in most scenarios, people would prefer to use a chamois towel because it's way easier to just wring out, reuse, wring out, reuse. It makes washing your boat, drying your boat super simple. The most efficient way to wash your boat. So I always start at the hardtop. Once I finish the top and the underneath of the hardtop, I move straight to the bow. Then I wash from the bow all the way to the center, all the way to the transom. Then I wash the outboards if the boat has it, and then I go down to the hull. So that's how I wash a boat. I think it's super efficient. It's the best way to do it. Always wash top to bottom. I know, guys, this might seem like common sense, but as well as you know, sometimes common sense just isn't always applied. The best product for removing mold and mildew. So in my opinion, that is going to be Stark Mildew Clean. So I've used a lot of these, mold and mildew removers, and a lot of them just simply don't work, or they're very ineffective. They don't work very fast, and they don't really remove a lot of mold and mildew, or all of your mold and mildew, because when you use a mold and mildew product, you want to get rid of all of that on your boat. And yeah, Stark Mildew Clean has always been excellent for me. It works every single time, and even if you have to do multiple applications, it works super fast, easy to use, doesn't harm your boat. So yeah, that's going to be great for mold and mildew. 3 products to never wash your boat with. So number 1 is going to be toilet bowl cleaner. So for some reason, I've seen people on YouTube wash their boats with toilet bowl cleaner. I just don't think that's a good idea. Toilet bowl cleaner is made for your toilet. It's made for your bathroom, not for gel coat. It's very corrosive to gel coat. It's going to damage the finish of your gel coat. And second up is going to be bathroom cleaner. So I see a lot of people use Lysol on their boats. Again, these are kitchen cleaners. These are bathroom cleaners. They are aggressive, corrosive. They're made to remove, stains and stuff like that. Really not safe for gel coat. I just think it's a very bad habit to get into. So just take that completely off of the list, because when I am washing boats, I'm detailing boats. Of course, I always see, what the owners have on their boat, what kind of supplies they've got, and they've always got these bathroom cleaners. Instead, swap that out for a detail spray or even a waterless wash product. A lot safer for gel coat, long term. And then finally is going to be Polyglow. Polyglow is a permanent form of protection. Very, very hard to work with. It doesn't want to come off your boat ever, which is going to cause a lot of issues. Can't buff it off, very hard to sand off, and it turns your boat yellow. All sorts of disasters with this product. So these are the 3 products to never use on your boat. Marine carpets or SeaDek. So the reality is, guys, I don't really like either of these, but if I had to pick one, I would say SeaDek. Here's what I don't like about marine carpets. So you guys probably know exactly what I'm talking about. Those carpets that snap on and off your non-skid, and they've got this black underneath rubber material, and it's loose, and it, over time as that carpet ages, it kind of dissolves that rubber material. It dissolves into your non-skid, and you can never get it out in the future. No matter if you pressure wash, clean it, it doesn't come out. It ruins your non-skid forever. That's why I don't like marine carpets. SeaDek, on the other hand, yes, it has its drawbacks. I've heard it gets really hot on your feet sometimes, and it can really fade very quickly, especially here in Florida. So if you've got a canopy and you're keeping it out of the sunlight, I think that's a really good thing. I think that's favorable. And yeah, this just allows you to not ever have to deal with non-skid ever again. And it's got a nice design, a nice feel to it. So I would say that Sea Deck is definitely a more favorable option over marine carpets. Is your non-skid yellow? Here's what you need to do. So really there's 3 things you can do. Number 1, try an acid application. Sometimes you'll get rust stains all over your non-skid, especially if you have a lot of salt on your boat. So that can definitely be a factor. Try an acid application with rust aid. If that doesn't work, well, maybe your non-skid is just simply dirty. So after that, try a boat degreaser, Simple Green, gonna work excellent here, and try to scrub out your non-skid like we talked about previously in this video. So that would be a second step. If that doesn't work, so you did the acid, you've done the degreaser, finally, you're gonna have to buff your boat, because that just means you have oxidation in your non-skid. So your non-skid will oxidize over time, and anything that touches that oxidation will turn yellow. So that's just part of the process of what you need to do. So always try the acid because it's easy. The greaser, it's easy. If not, well, sorry, your boat's probably pretty old, pretty oxidized. You're gonna have to try to buff it out. The best water spot remover product, well, in my opinion, that's gonna be Underdog WSP or water spot remover. That stuff is excellent. It's very aggressive, and it really does a good job at removing water spots off of any windows, any gel coat. But a close second is going to be Stark Venom. So try one of those 2 options. Both are on our website, 1%detail.com. The final solution to removing water spots off your boat. So sometimes, guys, what happens is water spot removers, they won't remove water spots, and buffing will not remove water spots. And here's why. So if you've got water spots that have been sitting on your boat for a extremely long extended period of time without attention, here's what happens. So you've got your gel coat, you've got oxidation, you've got water spots on top of that. So water spot products, not going to work. Buffing, not going to work. You actually have to sand your boat down to get through all that oxidation, get back to the gel coat, and that will remove the water spots. Then you can buff out your boat, polish it out, and go about that process. So I actually just did this recently on an axopar I was working on, because the boat was sitting for 5 years, never protected, never washed, and this is exactly what happened. How to clean old isinglass. So sometimes your isinglass, it gets old, it gets faded, it gets oxidized, and there's no amount of cleaning you can do to remove that fogginess from the panel. So what you need to do here is you need to actually polish out your isinglass. So here's exactly how to do it. Step 1, you need a DA polisher. I like the Griot's G9 or the Rupes LHR15. You need to get a microfiber pad, and then you need to get a 1500 grit compound, so a car compound. So I love to use Adams polishes for doing this process. So I'll use their blue compound, step 1, the microfiber pad. Step 2, I will switch to a yellow Rupes foam pad, so a medium foam pad. I will run their 2000 grit polish, and that'll finish out even further. And then finally, I'll do a white Rupes foam pad, which is their fine foam pad, with a 2500 grit polish from Adams, and that'll give us our clear surface, and it will remove all that fogginess, all the oxidation from your panels. And yeah, that process has worked excellent for me. How to clean a dirty canvas. So I feel like a lot of people probably have this question, so I'm going to try to answer it the best I can today. So step number 1, use like dish soap, use degreaser, but make sure you water it down 50 to 50, because heavy degreaser can damage the stitching on your canvas and weaken it. So make sure you give it a good strip wash, get all the dirt, get all the grime off of there. And then you're probably going to run into, maybe you've got bird droppings on your canvas. If you do, try to use vinegar in those spots, and maybe you'll have to do multiple applications, but you need something acidic to remove those bird droppings. And then after that, I would go with Stark Mildew Clean if you have any mold and mildew. So if you've got mold and mildew, Stark Mildew Clean is going to be a perfect solution for this. And then rinse your canvas down, and finally use a pressure washer. This is going to get your canvas the cleanest it can possibly be. Between applications of waterproofing, just make sure you keep your canvas clean, waterproof it. In my opinion, that's the best way to go about it. How to remove rust stains on bright work. So, stainless steel. Well, just like we did in the past, we can use Venom, we can use rust aid pretty much on any surface, bright work, gel coat, plastics, right? Usually plastics doesn't get a whole lot of rusting, but it can at times. 100% use those products, and those are going to work for that. That was the last question. Now, guys, I hope you were able to take something away from this episode, whether that was one question or a few questions. I hope this video helped you. Now, if you do have a question that I did not answer, you can always drop that below in the comments, and I will get to it now. It really comes down to using the right products, and it really comes down to having the right process. When you're dealing with a dirty and oxidized boat, an older boat, right, it really comes down to these things. So with that said, guys, we're going to continue this series throughout the year, so definitely stay tuned for all our future content. And with that said, be sure to head to 1%detail.com, check out any of our products, especially the ones we talked about today. And if you still haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button now. Be sure to leave a like. Be sure to share this episode with other boat detailers, boat owners. And with that said, guys, I will see you on the next video. Peace out.